Just kidding. I'm not a sadist. I got a really serious question, which I want to take seriously, give a serious answer to. Somebody asked me how I broke free from the system, or the matrix, if you will. Well, I didn't. Not really. I mean, it's all around us. And here we are. But what I did do, which freed me, was I strove to become independent in any way I could. I just, from a pretty early age, decided that I wanted to handle stuff for myself, take care of my own needs, and not rely on some big box outlet for my survival. So I worked in that direction to the point where, I built my own house and I made my own clothes, and finally got to the point where I was so disgusted with having to buy gasoline to go anywhere, I built my own car, which turned out to also be a boat at the same time. So you don't need a boat to break free from the matrix. And in fact, most boats are going to make you more embedded in it because, like I've said before, most boats suck. And they suck really badly. You'd need the right boat. And if you have the right boat, yeah, you can break even more free from the matrix because now you're free to go wherever you want. And you're in a better position to actually provide for yourself because there's nothing like moving through the world to start to present more opportunities and resources. They just float right by oftentimes. And so yeah, and Jesse, thank you for that comment, also asked, do I have any licenses? No, I don't need no stinking license. And you don't need them. Sure, everywhere you go to check in, there's probably boxes that ask you what licenses do you have. And I never check any of those boxes, and I've never been hassled about that. You don't need a license. Why would you need a license to take your life into your own hands and go be a free human being? I mean, just the whole idea of needing you could be free and sail the sea, but you're going to need to get a license. Fuck that. Fuck that. And if they ever do require a license, man, that's when I start going ballistic. And that's why, they always leave cracks in these regulations. Like, I've never owned auto insurance because you can slip through the cracks, at least in America. You might get pulled over for it and ask for your insurance, and if you don't have it, they're going to write you a ticket, and you will have to comply briefly to get your license back. I've had to do that. But in the end, I've saved so much money by not having auto insurance. The tickets I had to pay, 2 of them, probably all together added up to maybe, $500-600, whereas I would have paid maybe $40,000 in insurance during that whole period. And you're probably thinking, oh, you're so fucking irresponsible. What if you ran over a baby? And, well, if I ran over a baby and I had to help the family out, yeah, I would make right. You would have to. That's the moral thing to do. I'd sell my house. I'd sell my land, whatever it took. And even if I did have that liability insurance, the company would probably try to weasel their way out of it somehow, and you'd only be covered for $50,000 anyway. And don't make me get started on how bad a system that is. The auto insurance industry, they only pay out like 25% of what they take in for claims. It's a joke. It's just a joke. And as far as health insurance goes, I've got plenty of that. It's called raw food, natural food, exercise, lots of exercise, positive attitude, fresh air, just a happy state of mind, and we do other things for our health. I have a routine that I've been doing for years. In the morning that keeps me quite fit and alive, and I'll probably talk about that in the future because it's amazing what I've been able to accomplish with my morning routine. And Also, I'm an intermittent faster, which is really good for you. Your body needs to get hungry every day. You release, chemicals, endorphins, whatever, that makes you good. And you can start to catabolize fat instead of metabolize sugar. So this is really great. And I trick my body too into, because you could get used to all that and your body would figure out what's going on. And so I challenge it. Those are just guidelines, my fasting. Sometimes I'll eat a breakfast, especially if it goes with the flow of what's happening around me. So they're more guidelines than rules. And what else do we do for our health? Novi and I, and she's been great because she knows a lot about wild plants, but Novi and I for years, and even before I met her, anytime I run across a neem tree, I'll pick some of the leaves and scarf them down because it's great for killing parasites, and parasites are probably the number one cause of disease, even though some people would have you believe otherwise. And moringa leaves too, that's like a super food. It's got more minerals than any other plant. I could be wrong, but it's loaded with goodies. So we eat moringa whenever we pass a moringa tree. And other little goodies we find growing that we pick and bring home for putting it with our salad or spicing our foods. Like, Novi, how many things do you collect? Can I ask you any questions and get you involved with the things you collect and gather? She's a foraging queen. But no, I think she's pretty busy right now. And it is that time of the month. So, yeah, we got through that. And the other thing I wanted to talk about in regard to lifestyle was that, and I've mentioned this before, human power, I rely on human power as much as possible. And I create systems that require human power, like not having an anchor winch. You got to pull the anchor, every time you're going to move around the place. That's good for you. I like to sprint when I get out and about walking. I always sprint a little bit here and there. Novi and I like to pass a football in between each other, so that's great because she's a terrible throw, so I often have to sprint to catch the damn thing. And we play aerobie. Where's our aerobie? And of course you're always running for an aerobie. Sometimes you'd rather catch a bus than go run after the thing because the thing flies for miles. And just stuff like that, keeping things fun, keeping things interesting and unique. And we climb trees. We have a little kit to go up the trees to get coconuts. We're always picking coconuts every chance we get. And what other little things? Yeah, so I got through insurance and licenses and all of that. And now I want to talk about cats. That's right, cats. Because nobody wanted to hear about cats, but I wanted to talk about cats. A lot of people have cats on their boats, especially YouTubers. Now, if you are one of these people, please turn this off. I've got friends that live on boats with cats, dear friends, and I don't want to necessarily insult you or make you feel bad. I think it's great. Okay, you love your cat. And the cat, the cuddly cat, the cute little cat, it gets clicks. People love cats. They're so cute. But, now, turn it off. But cats on boats, holy cow, man. And I know from experience. I had a cat on this boat, and I also lived with a cat when I was a kid on my family's boat. DC was that cat's name. DC was short for damn cat. This cat loved to curl up at my feet at night when I was asleep. And I don't know what was going on. The cat was probably dreaming about it, going after a mouse or something. But just right, I'm like deep in REM sleep, and then BAM! That cat has bit my toe. Anyway, that sucked. And then the cat, Harimau, we named it Harimau. My sweetheart, Kelly, brought Harimau aboard because she found this poor little cat under a bridge, just like looking like hell. And she took pity on this cat and brought it home, and she nursed this cat back to health. And there we were with the boat cat. And, yeah, I mean, this cat, what a pain in my existence was this cat. This cat would bring like big roaches back just to play with and knock around until inevitably the cat got bored with the roach and then would just forget about it. And of course, it was like, I don't know how, but it must have been a female roach, would lay eggs all over the place, and there we were with an ungodly roach infestation. And the cat was always falling overboard. We had to put, little cat ladders off the side, which the cat never worked out to climb up. The cat would always somehow paddle to shore and find his way back to the docks and come back again. And, I was hopeful the cat wasn't coming back. And then, of course, Kelly had to fly home and get back with her life. But she couldn't take the cat with her on the plane, so I was stuck with the cat. And, man, at first, I thought, well, I'll just take this cat to one of these uninhabited islands and see if the cat can become a survivor cat. And I did that one night, and I went back the next morning to see how the cat had done, and the cat, Harimau, just looked terrible and sad, and so I had to take the cat back on board. Eventually I found a home for Harimau where there was like 13 other cats living, so, that wasn't going to be easy, but whatever. I got rid of Harimau, finally. And I think that's all I have to say today. Please do subscribe. Novi and I are considering becoming a verified channel, and because to reap the benefits of this, where we can put end screens up, so you can click on like part 2 of any of these part 2 videos, and maybe what do they call them? Thumbnails. Be nice to be able to put a thumbnail up. And frankly, I'm considering monetizing the channel. Now, if you have, go ahead, say something about that in the comments if you think it's wrong, because it's true, I think what they say there, Pink Floyd, money, so they say, is the root of all evil today. I should probably quit now. Thanks for watching, and please comment and subscribe. Bye for now.